Okay, friends, it is with a heavy heart that I begin this next lesson because I did the spine here by extracting a piece and duplicating it, and did the couple panels here and added some hose connectors here, and then had a system crash and lost all the recording. So I am doing this under the assumption that this recording will hold. If it does not, you'll hear me weeping probably from where you are. In any case, let's add some hoses here. If we look here in this lesson, you see we got some hoses coming up here, and I really like that. I really like the way these hoses look coming out of there. It's kind of got a nice little rib cagey type of feel. So I want to really work with that a little bit more. And I'm going to bring these hoses from here up to here. That's kind of my goal. Now, we're going to use a curve brush for this. And I found, trying to just draw a curve brush using one of these meshes is really kind of a fool's errand, because this is going to get all crinked and so forth. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring in a cylinder, or anything. You can use a Z-sphere chain too, and then just convert it. But the easiest thing for me right now, I'm just going to append this cylinder, a really, mushy cylinder. This little guy right here. He's hardly little actually, but let's just scale him way down here, and we're just going to morph this guy around and put him into the shape of the shape of the hose that we want to actually create. I'm going to make it Dynamesh because we are going to morph the heck out of him. We're going to warp him around a little bit, so I don't want to have to worry about the topology being a problem. So I'm just going to go to my move tool here, and I'm just going to, first of all, let's scale him down a little bit more because he's still a little bit big. There we go. Go to my move tool, and just going to grab this guy and pull it where I want him to go. I want it to go right into this little socket right here. So I'm just going to move him. And again, it doesn't really matter what it looks like. It just needs to have, the mesh just needs to be there. Ultimately, it just needs to be in that general area, because this is going to be basically the pathway that our hose is actually going to follow. So I'll bring this right in here toward this little guy, and that's really all we need to do. You just want to make sure that it's helpful to have an idea as to how you want the hose to look from the beginning. So this is, again, essentially kind of like a test run. Okay. So something like this, maybe a little bit more of a curve to it, because we have 3, but this is going to be the widest one. So I'm not worried too much about making this come out too far, because the other ones will be staggered going backward. Okay, there we go. So we have the general shape here of our guy, and now I can use this as the starting point, or the pathway, the guide, I should say, for our curve brush. I'm still just tweaking a little bit. Okay, so now go to our brush palette, B, I for insert mesh. Let's go to IMM curve, and the brush I want to use is hose 1. Now, before you draw the curve, make sure you realize that the width of your brush is going to be the width of the curve. You can adjust it later, of course, but may as well try and kind of have it similar right now. Now, let's go up to our stroke palette here, and I have bend on, so I can change the way the curve is. Lock start and lock end. I'm going to turn on lock start, even though I probably shouldn't. I'm going to try it. Snap, I don't want on. I want to actually be able to, twist to move it if I need to. But I'm just going to click at the very top here and drag a curve to the end. Okay, and as you can see, it's not exactly on the curve, but it's pretty darn close. So now I can grab this and move it a little bit here. I can just start manipulating this a little bit. Now, when your mouse is over the curve and it turns blue, that is the size of the manipulator. It's the size of how much influence you can have over the curve with each push. Grab this guy and put him right into position. Now, this is sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating trying to work with these curves, at least for me, because you occasionally get these little bumpy situations here. But see, for example, I accidentally made my brush size different over here. So now when I clicked on it, it got big again. This is one of the joys of working with this curve. All right, so there we go. It's coming along now, I think, fairly well. I have to find the. I must have accidentally hit the curve. That's another one of the joys of working with the curve brush. Is that if you tap close to this to move your camera around, too close, you actually redraw the curve a little bit. All right, so that looks pretty good. I think it's hard to tell with the cylinder in a way, but I think it's okay. With that in mind, I'm going to go up to stroke here and go to under curve functions and choose delete. And I am just going to group what's masked and then group what's masked again so that these two things are separate. I'm going to go back to my select rectangle. I'm going to turn off my cylinder, and there's my guy. So I'm going to go to my move tool, and now I can just move it a little bit if I need to tweak it. Don't tweak it too much, obviously, because you're going to warp the, that stuff. But in this case here, I think we're looking all right. All right, so very simple. I'm just going to do the same thing 2 more times. I am not going to ask you to watch me do that. That would be insane. But I'm also not going to pause the video because after that last crash, I'm a little bit hesitant. So let's just move on, and then I'll do the hoses in between. You can see it's got little kinks in it, so I'm going to need to do a little tweaking here to make it nice and round. But you get the idea, and I really think that that's the best way to go about it. Just either create a chain with Z-spheres or just have some other mesh stand in. But it really kind of gives you the ability to just draw your curve without too much fuss. Okay, so there we go. We have a curve. Now with the chest piece, I kind of want this to be like, I want him to have something here that's kind of, that makes it important. The chest piece is, one assumes, one of the more important pieces. And I kind of like the idea of this being like his heart, something that needs to be kind of plugged in. So, I'm going to actually just use my insert mesh brush here again. Again, like I said, I have no qualms about using it. I think there's some pretty cool stuff here, and this is not hard to make in Maya. So, if I'm going to use it, I may as well use one here. And the question is, what is the one I want to use? And I'm thinking that it's something like this would be kind of cool. I just think that this is a nice look. Of course, it'd be good if it was on the thing here, but that's kind of the idea I want to convey. This is I don't know if I'm going to have this one on the other side. It might be better to have this a little bit asymmetrical here. Again, heart on left hand side, and this is way off to the side, but the same idea applies. So I'm actually happy with that. I think that's actually pretty cool. Now I'm going to go to polyframe here, and I want to make sure that this is a different group, and it is. Okay, I want to hide that for now, just so I can give myself a couple extractions here. So hold down the A key. Let's go to my mask pen, and I'm just going to. I would have to figure that given what we have going on here, we have the heart piece or whatever that is, and these hoses coming in, that there's going to be some panels that need to be that have accessed at some point. So this is my theory, and I'm going to stick with that. I think that it sounds good. I think that that's not what I want to do. I think that that keeping it that way is a good idea. I'm going to keep telling myself that these panels desperately need to be there. I keep hitting the space bar instead of the Alt key. Okay, so I'm just drawing out. I'm actually trying to kind of trim the mask a little bit ahead of time. So, so that when I do my extract, I already have half the battle fought, essentially. Okay, and I want to go back to my pen because I don't like that angle. I want to have a little bit of an angle like this. Okay, and then I want to have a little bit of an angle like this too. So now I can get to my mask curve and turn it off like this. Okay, I think that's pretty cool. This sharp edge here is not doing me any favors though, so that's good enough. I think I'll go with my mask pen and just draw in a little bit of a angle there, just because I think and something that's so curvy like this, if we suddenly got like with a sharp line, it might just look out of place. So let's bring this in again. Let's bring this in again. I keep going the wrong direction because, well, I wouldn't have it any other way. There we go. Lovely. Let's go to our extract. And 0.02 is going to be way too much, so 0.006 might be good. Let's just see it from the side here. Take a gander. That's good. Perfect. And we'll accept that. And let's go back to my mask lasso and unmask that. Grab this guy and unmask him. And then we're going to go to our curve, our clip curve brush, and once again do what we've done 1,000 times before, which means we must be getting darn good at it at this point, don't you think? I bet you are. I'm still doing stupid stuff like that, but that's okay. And there I go again with my wrong key hit. Man, that I can tell you what, that system crash, that really leaves an impact on the person, because you don't trust it anymore. You don't trust your computer anymore to work for you. And now I'm constantly paranoid. All right, so this is a little bit of a strange shape, but I like it. I really do. I don't know. I think it's kind of a cool shape. It kind of keeps us. It's in line with the fact that this is a curved piece on his chest. And I like that little notch there. I do. I think I'm just losing my mind, but it's all right. So here's our little piece. I'm going to go to nothing big here. I'm not going to get overly ornate. Well, if you looked at what I've been doing, you might disagree with that. But I do tend to go a little overboard sometimes with the pieces. But I still think it's fun, and I'm going to go with these little parts right here. I want to bring back my my little nozzle guy there. My little nozzle guy. Oh, right, he's on this guy right here. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to go on to this little boy right here, and I'm just going to draw in little tiny screws. And I'm going to pause the video, so you don't have to see me draw in every single one. Oh boy, did you miss a good time. See all those little screws? That was a good time. Okay, there's one more thing I wanted to create on here. I do want this to, again, seem important, so I want to have a couple little wires running along here. So I'm going to go to my insert mesh brush once again, and once again, showing no shame, I'm going to find this little circuit box right here, and I want to create one right there. All right, now if I rotate around, you'll see he's probably a little high and out. Yeah, this is usually a pretty tall piece for some reason, so I'm going to snap that guy in there a little bit, squash him down. Okay, and I'm going to add another one, actually something different probably this time. So let's go to the brush, insert machine parts, and then I'll have something. This will run into something else, like something like let's find something. Well, maybe another one of those boxes. Wouldn't be so bad. A little box to box, little box to box action. And let's redraw that because I went the wrong way. When you draw and then go back, it tends to change what the brush does to like a lengthener or makes it taller somehow. All right, so there we go. We have this, and what I want to do is draw a curve that has wires going from place to place. So B, I, and let's go to insert and curve again. Now before it was the hose, but let's make this instead a double wire. Okay, and this time I want to go to my stroke and choose snap, so it stays on the path here. Okay, so we have a nice little wire, and all I gotta do now is make sure we bring this down so that it goes into here. Probably could have turned snap off and had that work a little bit better for us, but said, I'm still hurting from that crash. Just really hurting. It's, you know, when you have a system crash, you have to take a break, take a walk, come back, and then have to take another break because you realize you came back too soon. All right, so here's our stroke, and I'm just going to go to delete. So now we have a nice little wire running here, and you know, little things like that I'm going to add just to kind of, you know, make it seem like there's stuff going on there. I might go back and change that a little bit. I'm just going to let you know right now because I'm not thrilled with the way it looks, but the idea is there. So in between videos here, I'm going to first hope that this actually records, and then I'm going to do the tubes, add some doodads here, and then we're going to be really moving our way up toward the head, and that's where we get really neat. So I'll see you in the next video.